Welcome back to the channel. I have a customer that has a Toro 724 OE. I don't know what the OE stands for. It is a 1000 Snow Series. So it's a 7 horsepower, 24-inch clearing path snowblower. And it's in pretty good condition. And they just wanted it serviced so it's ready to go. We're expecting a snowstorm. And right now we got rain, but when I left the house I had 2 inches of snow. We're up in the hill, they're down here in the valley. But and I did this last year. I did a quick service on it when it wouldn't run, and there was an issue. I don't know if I can recall here. I don't know, there was like gas in the oil or something was going on. I don't really recall, but I got it running, and I think I changed the oil because I was concerned about it. We got to do the same thing again. So this looks like it's got a little 10mm bolt drain. Too bad it's right here. You can't quite get a jug under it. This is a pull start, or you plug a cord in and it's electric. We have a slow fast, and then must be a choke, right? Do enough projects, I don't recall. I think we turn this on and we pull the key out. Let's see here, let's learn together. No, the choke is this way, off. And this must be the kill switch, the key you just pull out. And then here's your prime. And that sounds good. And what I always worry myself with is mice. The same customer is the one that had all the mice in the John Deere and chewed the coil wire and so on, and it wouldn't start. It bound up the starter. There was so much grass and stuff up in there the mice made nest with. So this is stored in the same building, so I just want to go through things. And to service it, here's where you check your oil, and it's probably only been used 10 minutes. I don't know if they used it last year. I don't know. I didn't ask them. See, the oil's really clean. It's actually too full. Maybe I'm not totally level here, but I hate to change the oil if we don't have to. See, this oil is see-through. Got viscosity to it. And I'm spilling it, so I should put a cardboard under us. And then come over here. There's an oil fill and dipstick. See how clean that is? You can't even see it. And I better wipe it off. It looks like it's a little over the high mark. Yep, there's an H mark on it. And that's right there on the high mark. See how clean that is? I'm not going to change the oil in this. You probably ran it 10 minutes, you know. The driveway's only 40 feet long. Might have done it twice. We didn't have much snow last winter. But they're concerned about, you know, the other mower didn't run. We couldn't get it started, so he wanted me to check it over. So I just want to check all the controls, see what's going on here, make sure everything works. The tires, they have air in them, and they're hard. They got real nice tread. And always check your cables, and they work good. And this up and down, I like that. And then the joystick, this is a nice setup. We can put it exactly where you want them. Not hammer a car and not put it on the fence or the deck. That works great. And well, let's see if we can look in the front here. And the bottom looks a little rusty there. Probably could use a little WD-40 in it. Probably this has a lock on it, so we can't turn the auger. Probably can't turn the auger while it's setting, you know, with the cables. Probably got to hold the cables down and mean to move them. And These have shear pins here, look like bolts, and those are looks like quarter 20s by 2s. So I don't know if he has any of them on hand, but if you hit a rock or something, you've got to replace these pins. And then I believe there's a shear bolt on the axle too. I believe there is. And on a lot of these you can either put the pin in or take the pin out to give you, I think it's one wheel or whatever. So really I don't see anything wrong with it. What I wanted to look at again was whether mice had made nests in there, and I wanted to follow the fuel line and check for fuel leaks, and it has almost a full tank in it, and I don't see any issues with this. And he did use it. There's a little bit of gravel up on the top here, so he must have used it, but I don't want to replace the oil with a couple hours on it, or less than that. So I guess we could spray a little lubricant down in here where that rust is, and the snow won't stick to that quite as well. And I'm going to use the products that they have. I believe he's got some WD right here, silicone or some kind of lubricant. Let's see what I can find. So I just sprayed some of this liquid red silicone on everything in here, and that way the snow won't stick to it, and it'll evaporate and drip off here. It won't make too much of a mess. And this should have been stored with a little bit of lubricant on it, because this bottom circle part of the housing is rusty. And my snow blower, if I don't spray it, it gets wet, heavy snow stuck in it. So that should be done. And then I'll put this old rag under here to let it back down. Let it drip in that somewhat. And then what I think I'm going to do is get it running, warmed up, make sure it runs good. And I think on these cables, if there's any areas that need lubrication, I'd like to spray them, because if we get water and it freezes in there, then they don't want to work, you know. So I'm just going to hit all the pivot points, and then how's this head work right there? There's no grease fittings on anything, you know. Guaranteed for life, it says. Anti-clogging system. Let's see how that works, right? Guaranteed for life. It works really good. And then all these type of movements, just give them a little bit of spray once a year, and then they'll function for you. Here's the end of the cable. I like to get it down in the cable, you know. I had a snow blower with tracks before. It was a Cub Cadet, and it worked pretty good, except all the cables were giving me problems, you know. All these pivots down here, when I hit them, and the springs, I like to. It makes a mess, but it's raining outside. I didn't want to do it out there. And I'm going to leave it right in here is where he wants it, and there's an electric outlet that I put in for him. We didn't have one over there. I put a double outlet in over there for him. And he's got his, what's on there? Yeah, he's got his rechargeable batteries up on it right now, but he can plug a cord in and fire this thing off, and we'll test that too. So I think I'm done with the silicone. And then I probably have to wipe all this. Can't tell if it's water or silicone on stuff now. Probably water. Pouring when I come in here with it. It was out in the shed. So just a quick servicing on it. Just make sure that it all functions and it all works. I was going to put gas in it, and this gas can is empty. It has about a half a tank in there, and it's nice and clean. But I was going to top that off. We'll get the dust off her. And then I want to warm it up. I'll get it over towards the door to get the exhaust outside. I want to see how this goes. We'll fire it up, fire it up, fire it up. Terrell? Collecting dust, you know. Silicone will make it shine good. Always keep your towels in hand. So, like I said, I'm going to start it. If it fires right up, it runs smooth, we're done. If it doesn't run real good, it spits and sputters. On these, they do not have a fuel line, fuel filter set up. And so, there's not a lot I can do with it. I'd have to drain the carburetor. And it looks, is it a Tecumseh? It says Toro 212 on it. I don't know what engine they make. They're clones of something. And then let me finish wiping this off, get it cleaned up, and then we'll fire this up. All right, I gave it a good wipe down, checked it all over. I don't see anything wrong with it. We lubed all the cables, all these different moving parts. The oil is super clean and full, and the gas is half full, and they don't have a gas can handy, so they'll have to fill that up. And we're ready to take this out and fire it up here. We'll just go out the door a little bit. I want to do it the hard way first. Hand starting it. I'm going to put it in, I guess it doesn't matter because there's no neutral. We're going to leave the key in it. We're going to put it over on choke. Gonna prime it. I don't know. It's been sitting right 10 times. So you can hear gas. That sounds a little different there. So then the exhaust is that way. Let's fire it up. See what happens. Uh-oh. Probably not enough fuel. Doesn't sound like it's squirting. And as far as I know, there's no fuel shut off on this, right? Let me double check that. Let's see if I can find the manual. Yeah, I don't know where the manual is, so let's see. Doesn't sound like it's really squirting a lot. The fuel is really clean on the bottom. There's nothing in the fuel tank as far as grit. No rust and grit, no water. You can see all the way to the bottom. It's about halfway full. And well, now I got the throttle on high, so maybe I didn't have it high enough. Let's see here. Choke that direction. Uh-oh. Sounds like it's running out of gas, doesn't it? Choke on this. So right here, there's no explanation on it. But right here, is this a fuel on off, right? Can't even see it, right? You still can't see it. I can't see it. This little thing right here, it turns 90 degrees. I wonder if that's fuel on off. So the tank is here. You don't see any fuel line. So straight, if the hose runs straight to the carburetor, which is right here, that might be it's on. Maybe the fuel is turned off. So now I got it on. Throttle on, choke on. Set you down here. Without a manual, you just got to learn the stuff, you know. So you could pull the plastic key right out. And that's a kill switch. And then see how easy it starts without choking. They run so lean. You probably even got to prime it, right? You got to get them pretty warm. What else you got to do here? Choke off. No. It's on high. Choke on. I guess I'll prime it. I wouldn't think you would have to with a warm engine, but see what it does. Well, I pulled the key out. Did I put the key back in all the way? It clicked. Nice. Okay. New problem. What's the problem? We're expecting some snow today. We're in a winter storm watch. 4 to 9 inches. And earlier we had about 2 inches up at the house. I didn't have nothing here. So I pulled the key out. And mess it up. I don't think I should be able to pull the key out of it. No? Alright. Take the choke off. Well, tell you what that is, guys. Run really smooth. Well, it acts like we have intermittent no spark now. So, should I have not pulled the key out of it? I don't. It seems strange. There's high, medium, off. Fuel on, off, I would assume, and then key in and out, and it spring loads. So I guess I gotta take the top cover off and see if there's something stuck in the wiring or something there. Well, I took this cover off. There's a bunch of little bolts. I rolled it ahead to give me a little more room, and there was a bolt laying down underneath it. Bolt fell out of this cover here, and the other one was loose. Somebody's been in here doing something on it, changing belts, doing this. Maybe somebody's been after this. So right now I don't think we're getting spark, or we're getting intermittent spark. I don't see any critters up in here. To get the plug off, plug wire, get the plug out, this cover was in my way to get my fingers in here. And right here is where your plastic key kills that. So I think the easiest thing for me to do is stick a screwdriver across there and crank it. If it starts right up, it's the key switch. If not, we got to pull the plug. Well, I pulled the plug out and I put my finger over the hole. We have no compression. Now why would that be? It's running. It didn't over rev. It ran pretty good. I pulled the plastic key out and the engine stalled, which it should, and now it won't restart with compression problem. It's not low compression. I get no compression. I put my finger right over the hole and there's nothing. Alright, I did it a second time. I got no compression coming out of there. So I put the wire on. I have no testing tools with me. I just thought I was going to change the oil on this. Let's see if we got spark. We got real good spark, so it's nothing to do with the key. So when it shut off, what could it have done? Stuck a valve? It makes, it sounds fine. It's not turning over hard. It's turning over real free with no compression. So is it a stuck valve? I don't know if I have permission from the homeowner, they're not home, to take the valve cover off, because I'll need some Permatex to put it back on to see if we have a stuck valve. And if I look down in there, I don't know if you can see, that piston is nice and shiny. And I don't have an endoscope. That's something on my Christmas list, right? That piston is clean. A little bit of carbon on that side, but there's no hole in it or nothing. And we get serious blow by if we had that issue. I think we got a stuck valve. Probably I ought to take the valve cover off, but I've seen where the rocker falls off, whatever. I don't know the style. I have to take it off to see. But I need permission for that. I got to ask the homeowner if they want me to bring a trailer down, grab it, take it home, or try to fix it here. I don't have Permatex with me. I won't be able to seal that right unless the gasket's in perfect shape. Normally they rip when you take them off. So I'll check with the homeowner. Well, the homeowner's not answering their phone, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this cover off and see if we got movement on the valves, or if the rocker's off, or the valve stuck in the open position. Alrighty, let's look together. These are little 8mm. We got our spark plug wire. We got a blower tube. All right, let's see what's happening here. Well, it didn't hurt it. The gasket's cork, nice and clean. Look how clean that engine is. But let's see what's going on here. There's your problem, lady. Valve. Let's see here. Is it stuck, or is a push rod bent? It ran so good, I can't believe the push rod would be bent. That spring, yeah, you can see the spring there. That's compressed more than that one. And this is, where's the exhaust come out? This side. That's an intake valve. Is that intake valve stuck? Huh. I think I'll grab a hammer and tap on that valve and see. I don't know, lack of lubrication, sitting around. I don't know. Look how clean that is in there. It's like brand new. Well, on this bench I found a hammer and a little metal punch thing. I think the first thing I should do is just tap or push on it. Is it stuck? There we go, it popped up. Huh. Why would it do that, right? Stuck valve. Hope it didn't hit the piston, right? So now, I'm not going to be able to get this on. I'd have to readjust it. Probably valves need readjusted. But I think, that's pretty clean, is I could probably push the valve down and put this rocker back on without changing any adjustments. Because I don't have the specs on me. And the other thing, is there anything missing here? No, that little cap's on there. There's like a spacer cap, I don't know what it's called, but if that had fallen off. But if I can push this down and set our push rod back in, I don't know. Maybe turn the engine over by hand a little bit to see if it makes a difference. See where the valve is positioned at. So there, the exhaust opens, so that means that the intake is closed. Do we want this up all the way? If it's open, it'd be pushing it out. So I guess that will be down all the way. And then, can we fix this with no parts required, right? Look at that. We're almost on there. Could use a screwdriver now or something smaller. Oh, there it is. Check it out. So now I'm still going to turn it over by hand just to see if everything's moving good now. It is. It pulls harder now. It didn't have any compression. That's the strangest thing I ever had happen, you know. Let me let's see here. Let me tighten, make sure that spark plug's tightened. I put it in there, but now I can't remember if I tightened it. Probably. Yeah. So let's put the plug wire on. Let's not put the cover on. And fire it up, Terrell. Let's see what happens. Probably squirt oil all over, right? Let's see if we got any oil pressure. So let me grab the old rag and we'll put underneath here because we just wiped this down, got it nice and clean. And let's see if it'll start. Let's see, the gas is on, the choke is that way. Give it a little bit of gas. And then we'll turn the throttle down a little. Ooh, sounded like something was happening. Am I hearing things? We got a little compression now. I'll turn this up to fast. It almost fired. The valve's still together. Oh, they need adjusting. See that? This is the exhaust valve. Super loose. Look at them, they're both super loose. I would say, if I can, that's got to be more than 20 thousandths. It's almost a spark plug gap. That's not going to open that valve very far. I'd have to look up the specs, so it looks like I might have to take this home and fix it or bring some tools down and get the, look up the serial number, get the engine specs for the intake and exhaust, what are they, 810 or 6.8 or whatever they are, get a feeler gauge, And on this one, it looks like 2 wrenches, like a 12, maybe about a 12 and an 8. I was hoping it's going to be an easy job. Nothing's ever easy anymore. Let me try this electric start, see if it makes a difference. Turn it over faster, you know. That's floating around. That's way too loose. I don't have the proper tools with me today to do that. We're getting oil up on that. That's good. That's moving all over the place. Well, the homeowners won't respond back yet, so I'm going to go ahead and put this back together now that it runs and tell them it needs a valve adjustment. And I'll look up the specs in the meantime, and they might say hold off as long as it runs, but we'll see. I think it's just going to fall off again. Let's see what it sounds like here. Now let me turn it on and see if I can just start it by hand. That's the off, so I just did that. Yeah, you see that valve dancing, or the rocker arm dancing all over? That's way too loose. I think what I'll do before I put the cover back on is I'll check the nuts to make sure they're tight, but I don't want to adjust them yet. I do not have feeler gauges with me. Well, sorry about that, guys. This is the next morning. We did get the snow. Check it out. Battery went out on the camera, so I didn't get to finish the clip up, but the homeowner said we'll leave it as is. Just what I thought. That big snow slide out there on Dawson's building. We got about quite a bit. It's warm, the ground's warm, so this already started to melt, but it looks like we got 10 inches of snow here, and that's what the forecast said, 10 to 12 in the higher elevations, which we are. Got our old turkey flag here flying, but that's the strangest thing. I had a engine run really good. We shut it off, we started back up, or tried to. Had no compression whatsoever. So are the valves running dry? The oil is super clean. An engine like a snowblower that sits around, they don't have an air filter in them. Does it get air inside there to cause a little bit of corrosion? I didn't have an endoscope, and I looked inside the cylinder and I could see little tiny rings on the piston, which means it's not all carboned up. And that's the strangest thing. But I told the homeowner, and I showed him the photograph of the rocker arm and everything, and told him they should be adjusted, and he says he's not sure he's even going to use a snowblower. He's getting a little elderly, and he said his, walking down his little angled driveway is slipping, and he said he might let his son do it. So I told him if he doesn't want the snowblower, send it my way, and I'll do a little tinkering with it, and it'll be good up here today, wouldn't it? We could come in and clean around the buildings real well. But I've got to get my tractor out and get the chains on it and get the snow plow on it. Right now we still have the backhoe. I've been busy doing projects, and I knew the snow was coming. They said we got a storm. Usually I'm prepared, but it's kind of warm out. I don't know, it's probably
in the 30s, supposed to be back up in the 40s in a couple days. So this isn't going to last, you know. So I hate to put chains on in November because, you know, it beats on the driveway so much. But I definitely don't get stuck. And if we get ice down on the lower portion, and I'm plowing, I don't want to get stuck down there with a tractor. What's going to get me out, you know? So I'll probably get all that going and put that in the garage and put the chains on, get the, I get the snowblower out, get it serviced, get the back blade on it anyway. And that'll be an upcoming video. But check this pretty sight out. Before Thanksgiving, this is what we got. Picture perfect, right? If you like it. See our wood over there. We got enough wood for a while. It's starting to blow in on the edge there. But inside, all that wood's nice and dry. Forget how many face cord. I think it was 9 in there. So we're set for a while. And thanks for following along with the channel. And we'll see you soon.